Hello. I know it's a school night. I know kids just started school, so we're going to make sure we try to keep this as brief as possible. So I'm going to give everybody a couple of seconds to come on in. Hey, Jen. Hey, Kalani. Oh, okay. So I just figured out how to wave to people. Hey, y'all. I'm gonna give everybody else a couple more seconds. That's so crazy. I was trying to figure out how people wave, and I never knew until just now. Okay, now I know. Okay, I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And then if I need to go back, then I will. Thank you, my little fresh twist out. Thank you. Okay, so hey. Okay, so today is the first of the month. It is September 1st. So we're kicking off September with our third annual PCOS sale. So that's for Kiki oil. So let me show you my Kiki oil. So every month of September, for the entire month of September, I do a sale for PCOS where you get 30% off of Kiki oil no matter the size. So I do that because slow down, Rha-Kera. The reason I do that is because that's how I developed Kiki oil, is because I have PCOS, and one of the side effects, or one of the traumas, or however you want to say it, of having PCOS is that you get thinning hair, you shed more than normal, and sometimes you end up with androgenic alopecia, which is basically like male pattern baldness. And so that's how I ended up developing Kiki oils, because of my PCOS. My hair was thinning really bad at the top. And so I developed Kiki oil, and because I have PCOS, I want to make sure that anybody who's having any sort of hair thinning or hair shedding or anything like that, that I can every year put this oil on sale for that purpose. So 30% off of Kiki oil no matter the size from now until the end of September. Thank you. Okay, give me 1 second. I dropped my note cards. I always got to have some note cards, so let me grab those. Okay. Okay, so that was the first thing. So this evening we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about trims, hair trims versus a haircut. We're going to be talking about pH in terms of your hair. We're also going to be talking about what else? Chemical and mechanical damage. And then, I'm going to start off with, I've been getting a lot of traffic to my hair, to the hairhotline.com, to my website, and I've been answering tons of questions. Some questions I still haven't been able to get to, so I appreciate everybody's patience and waiting for me to answer those questions back for them, because I've been getting so many questions. But when you ask a professional a question and I give you the answer, don't ask me if I'm sure, because yes, I'm sure. I done gave you the answer. That's the answer to the question. So for example, I get questions like, should I color my hair more if my hair feels like seaweed or if it's falling out? And I tell you, no, you shouldn't color your hair anymore, because you're going to cause more dryness. You're going to cause more damage. Your hair is going to take a long time to recover, things like that. And then you ask me, are you sure? I'm absolutely positive that it's not a great idea for you to color your hair anymore. So, when you want to ask a professional question, even if you don't like the answer, I am so sorry, but that's the answer. It's nothing I can do. It's nothing I can say. I can't put your hair back once you damaged it. I can only help you maintain what you have. Okay? All right. So let's talk about trims. So trims are non-negotiable. Stop trying to reason with your hairstylist and say, well, can you just trim it next time because I want to save my length. Saving your length is just stop. Because, first of all, before I say that, before I go there, let's talk about the difference between between the trim and a haircut. Okay, so a trim is anything when you're taking off in terms of inches, a half an inch or less. Okay, anything a half an inch or more is going to be considered a haircut. Now, I saw something recently where it was kind of a debate on the charge of a trim versus a haircut. The charge of a trim and a haircut will be the same price because they have to do the same procedure. They have to part your hair the same way. It's no difference in how they're cutting your hair. It's just a difference in how much hair they're cutting off. Okay. And so the reason why we don't want to make trims negotiable and we don't want to, don't want to bargain with the length of our hair is because when ends start to split, you notice a lot of different things. You notice that your hairstyle doesn't hold as long as it used to. Your hair is not as shiny as it used to be. Your hair is not as easy to comb through. So you are noticing that you have a lot of tangles in the hair. Now that happens when you have split ends. Now, when those ends split, if they continue to split all the way up to the scalp, there's no more nourishment that can be provided to that hair through your scalp. And so then you end up with bald spots in that area. You end up with maybe flyaways in that area because the hair is not as strong as it could be. So you want to make sure that you're staying on a trim schedule. You want to make sure that you are not negotiating on saving length to versus getting a trim or getting a haircut, because you end up cutting off more when you wait more time. Okay, and so the more you trim, or I shouldn't say the more you trim, but the more often that you trim and you're keeping your hair healthy, the longer your hair will grow, the shinier it will be because there's no dead ends, there's nothing weighing the hair down, there's no fragility to the hair at all. Okay, so that's why we want to make sure that you're not negotiating your trim. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's talk about pH. So, a lot of people, especially with me working at the health food store, they don't understand what pH is. They don't understand how you get pH and things like that. Okay, so you don't create pH. pH stands for potential hydrogen. That's why it's a little p and it's a large H, because H on the all the elements on the periodic table have a capital letter, right? So pH is going to be a small p and a large H. Now, potential hydrogen, or pH, measures the acidity or alkalinity of a water-based substance. So that can be juice, it can be pop, it can be water itself, it can be our bodies, it can be hair products and things like that are water-based. Okay, so shampoos, conditioners, leave-in conditioners, things like that have pHs. So the pH of hair, skin, and nails needs to be acidic, because the higher on the alkalinity side that products are, the more it's drying the hair out, the more you start to go into chemicals that are applied to the hair. Okay, so the pH of hair, skin, and nails should be between 4.5 and 5.5. Okay, so we know from science class that at 7 we're at a neutral. So our hair, skin, and nails should be on the acidic side, should be lower than a 7, should be lower than a 6. When you start to go up into higher pHs is when we start to get into chemical processes and things like that, like I said previously. Okay, so now, like I said before, our bodies internally, it's said, I can't say for sure because I'm not a doctor, it's said that our pH inside our bodies should be on the more alkaline side, that we should be higher than a level 7, because the higher the pH, the less that our bodies can hold on to toxins, the less our bodies can hold on to mucus, and the better that our bodies can fight off toxins and environmental toxins, internal toxins, bacteria, and things like that. Okay, so that's pH, right? Hair, skin, and nails needs to be acidic. And then how do you balance it, right? So a lot of times the way that you balance it is after you shampoo and condition, depending on the type of shampoo and conditioner that you're using. Most professional brands of shampoos and conditioners tell you what the pH is on the outside of the bottle, so you don't have to guess. If you don't know what the pH is of your products, then you can always test them, or you can call the company and ask them what the pH of those products are, okay? But products should be balanced within range. Some products are a little bit higher on the pH scale. Maybe the shampoo is a 4, and then the conditioner may be a 6, or vice versa, but it balances out, okay? But another thing that helps balance out the skin and the hair's pH and even the scalp's pH is rose water. Y'all know I love my rose water, okay? Rose water helps balance out the pH of the hair, balances out the pH of the scalp, and you can even spray it on your skin, balances out the pH of the skin. And so what that means is, for example, on our skin, if you have an oily T-zone, right? Oily forehead, oily nose, oily chin area, dryness on the cheek, then what the rose water does is the parts where you're oily is going to dry those out. The parts where you're dry is going to moisturize those by itself. Other things that do that on your skin are something like witch hazel. But the reason I love rose water is because you can not only spray it on your skin, you can spray it on your hair and your scalp, and it makes a complete difference. It helps detangle the hair. It helps, like I said, balance it out, but it also helps add a little bit of shine. It also helps control inflammation that may happen on the scalp. So sometimes people with curly hair, sometimes we get ingrown hair, or we may get bumps or things like that from products on our scalp. And what the rose water is going to do is it's going to help control that inflammation that happens on the scalp area. Okay, so that can be sprayed on your scalp after you rinse your conditioner. You spray that all throughout the hair and the scalp, rub it in really well, and then you can go on to your styling products or your heat protectant if you're going to blow dry. Okay. And okay, so a couple questions that I've been getting a lot recently is about flat ironing and using chemical products. So there is a such thing as chemical and mechanical damage. Okay, so chemical damage happens from chemicals. So it's going to happen from a relaxer, a perm, color, lightener, or bleach. Okay, mechanical damage happens from blow drying and flat ironing, overusing hot tools on the hair. Okay, so those things, overusing pretty much anything is going to cause some sort of adverse reaction, but especially overusing your hot tools, like I said, your blow dryer and your flat iron, and overusing chemicals are going to cause an adverse reaction in hair. So let's say, for example, we have someone with curly hair and they're coloring their hair. Once they color their hair, permanent color, like a permanent all over color or a lightener or bleach, automatically is going to relax that curl pattern a little bit, which means that your hair is not going to be as curly as it once was. Okay, so when we continue to do that over and over again, you start to notice things like, oh, well, my hair is really straight at the ends and it's really curly at the base. Well, everything at the base will be the new hair that probably has never been touched with color before, and everything on the ends will be the parts that have been colored previously. So that part, the parts that are straight or straighter, can have or might have some chemical damage to it. Okay, one way to tell whether you have chemical damage is if you touch the hair when it's wet and you pull it and it stretches, right? Hair shouldn't stretch like that when it's wet. When you have that elastic effect on the hair, or you have when you touch the hair it feels like seaweed, that means that we may have some sort of damage to the hair. That could be chemical or it could be mechanical. Most times it's chemical damage when you have that stretchy effect on the hair. Okay, so those are the type of things you want to pay attention to. So when we have curly hair, if we want to maintain our curls, we want to make sure that we're not overusing color, overusing lightener. So just because you apply color and you feel like the color has faded, if it's not completely grown out, or if you haven't cut it all off, the color molecules are still there. So let's give an example. If I color my hair today, right? And I know that hair grows between a half an inch a month, give or take. And in 2 more months, the color has faded, or I've colored over it or whatever, and I want to apply more color. Only thing that will be new hair or hair, virgin hair that hasn't been touched before, will probably be about an inch or so of hair, right? So about this much hair. But everything from there on will have been touched with color before. So if I try to go back and I try to color it again, or I try to lighten it again, I have to worry about that part of my hair being more damaged than being more damaged than it already is. Okay, so color molecules do not go away. Now let's do another example with color. If I have colored my hair blonde, and then I color it back dark, right? So now my hair is dark, but I want to go back blonde. I still have the blonde underneath there before. I still have whatever colors I used in order to color my hair dark. And I still have that dark color to make sure that my hair didn't turn green, right? I still have all those layers of color on the hair that has been touched with color before. So you have to pay attention to that when you're trying to maintain curls, or you're trying to maintain any sort of healthy hair. The color is still there. Now, when we talk mechanical damage, and when we talk mechanical damage from a blow dryer or from a flat iron, you always want to make sure you're applying some sort of heat protectant anytime heat touches your hair. So if you shampoo, you condition, you rinse it all out, and then you put your heat protectant on, you blow dry, and you're ready to flat iron your hair, you gotta put more heat protectant on that hair, okay? Once you blow dry it, that heat protectant has been burned away. It is put into the hair. All its nutrients is on the hair. Okay. So when we start not using product on hair, or when we start blow drying without the concentrator or that little piece that's on the blow dryer, we open ourselves up to more mechanical damage to the hair. Okay. So once we have caused mechanical damage, or we've caused chemical damage to the hair, there's nothing you can do about it, okay? All you can do is maintain it. Everybody's like, oh, well, what can I do to get my hair back to how it was? Let it grow out. That's all you can do. Continue to trim those ends off. Don't cause any more mechanical damage. Don't cause any more heat damage, right? We want to maintain the healthy hair that we have. So we want to trim the ends. We want to do conditioning treatments, right? Now, conditioning treatments are going to help you maintain the hair temporarily. I see a lot of products that say that they are curing split ends. That's not true. The only cure for a split end is to cut it off. It might bind the hairs together, but that's only temporary. When that product wears off, your hair is back damaged how it was before. So don't let these products trick you. The only cure for that is to let the hair grow out and to start to cut all that damage off of the hair. It may take a while. It may take you, months, where it only took you 2 weeks to jack up your hair. It may take you months, and may take you years to get it back to how it was. But that's the process in order to get the hair back healthy. Okay. I know I gave y'all a lot of information. I saw that somebody had questions, so I am open to questions. Let me make sure I covered everything I was supposed to cover while I'm under this light. Okay, y'all, bear with me. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say. So, I get it that we can't all afford to go to a hair professional. We can't all afford to go sit in a chair and spend, $300, $400, $500 on hair color, or, $100 to get our hair done every time. Now, if you have those issues, which is no problem, go to a beauty school and get your hair done. Most of the time, they do a professional job at a fraction of the cost. A lot of times they're too scared to mess up your hair to even cause any sort of mess up or any sort of malfunction on your hair, okay? So if you want color, you want these fashion colors, I never suggest people do color at home themselves. I don't suggest it. I will help you try to fix it as much as I can, but I never suggest it because there's a lot of entities and a lot of layers into doing color and doing it properly, right? But go to a beauty school and get your hair done. They do a great job. They charge a fraction of the price. And you can show them pictures of what you want, just like you can show your hair professional pictures of what you want. Okay? All right. Let's see. It took me over 1 year to get my hair back. Right. So, when we were in pandemic shutdown, a lot of people couldn't get their hair done, which is completely understandable. So you may have noticed that your hair was shedding more than normal, or that or that it was some issues with the hair. So that was my sister. We had to cut all her hair off when everything opened up, because she didn't listen. She asked questions. I told her what to do. She didn't listen, which is fine. We're getting the hair back together now, but that's what happens. And so now her hair is much more healthy. She's never had to cut her hair like that before, and she was completely devastated. But we're back healthy now, and she listens more now. She don't listen all the way, but she listens more now. Okay. All right. Let's see. I have one question here. When do you start trimming or cutting your kids' hair, and how much should you start trimming? That's a great question. So that's actually one of the topics I was going to cover in a future live, but I'll answer your question now. So, it's always up to you when you want to start cutting. I always suggest that you start trimming hair at about 2 or 3. Now that doesn't mean that you have to straighten their hair to trim. That can mean that after you have shampooed and conditioned their hair, you just take off, just making sure, pulling the hair up, making sure that it's even, or taking them to a hairstylist to make sure that the hair is as even as possible. I started trimming my niece's hair at about 2.5, 3. And I don't suggest that you blow dry or flat iron children's hair until they're at least like 5 or 6 or 7, just so you don't disturb those natural curl patterns, but also so you're not causing any tension to the scalp, because their hair is still fragile, their hair is still growing in. So I can't tell you how much. I normally, I'll tell you what I do is in the back, I just, from the middle of the head down, pull that hair down, make sure that it's even, and then everything else I kind of pull out and make sure that it's even all the way around. Okay, so that's how I do for trimming for kids' hair. Using a rose water for inflammation, does that work on men when they get hair bumps on the back of their neck from cutting it? Great question. So a lot of men I talk to about using rose water, they're like, oh, that's lady stuff. Listen, men have skin, women have skin, we all have skin, okay? So absolutely, rose water is great for men, especially if they get a lot of hair bumps or a lot of inflammation from clippers and shaving and things like that. One of the biggest things that you want to do is, if you're shaving with a razor, after every swipe of the razor, you need to rinse it off. Okay, so don't shave and then keep going to that same area until you can't go anymore. Okay, so you want to shave in that one area with a razor, rinse your razor off, go back to shaving. If they're using clippers, the clippers need to be cleaned after each time they use them. So get some, they have a clipper spray to disinfect them. They have all type of things that you can use, but you have to make sure that you're disinfecting those clippers after each time. And then as soon as you're done, whether you're shaving or whether you're using the clippers, you want to wash that area. Okay, so cleanse that area, because there's, even if you like the barbers just do the the duster, I can't remember the exact name for it right now, but as soon as you get home, or if you're doing it yourself, go take a shower or wash your hair to get all that extra hair off, and any dirt and debris that's on the skin, you want to get that off, and then you can use your rose water after. So you put it on the area and you let it sit. So you don't, if you put it on the face or on the back of the neck, things like that, you do not have to massage it in or rub it in like you would on your scalp area. So great question. That is great for men. Great for men. Is there a way to restore curl patterns? I cut 3 inches off and it's a lot healthier, but the curl pattern I once had isn't there. So that's actually a question that I just had earlier this week from someone. sometimes when we have a lot of mechanical or chemical damage, depending on how it is, the curl pattern changes. Because those are chemical processes, or because we've caused so much damage to the actual foundation of the hair, sometimes the curl pattern doesn't come back like it was before, or like you thought it would. Sometimes it's because you haven't cut off all the dead hair, and after you cut off all the dead hair, then it kind of restores itself after that. It's case by case, is depending on the person. But if that curl pattern is permanently damaged, or if it is damaged once you cut off all the dead hair, if the curl pattern is not like it was before, then unfortunately the curl pattern is damaged permanently, and it's probably not going to come back how it was. I've had that experience before. And sometimes life events, make our hair pattern change. So it could be a combination of the damage that you had, plus life events in terms of a lot of stress, or in terms of lack of vitamins and minerals and things like that, or medications that you may be taking that can affect the hair pattern and affect the curl pattern. I'm sorry, I'll keep saying hair pattern. So once you cut it, work with your hair professional on coming up with a schedule, or coming up with a plan on trimming the hair and making sure that it's all cut, all the dead ends are cut off, and then you can determine whether the curl pattern is there or not. And it could be a combination. It could also be the products that you're using. So maybe you need to switch from store-bought products into professional branded products. But if you message me, I'll be able to help you out with some of the products that I absolutely love for curly hair. I switched over the years, but this product I really, really love. So I'll be able to give you that. Okay. What is a safe temperature for flat iron for a non-professional? Great question. For professionals, most professional flat irons go up to about 450, 475. I never recommend that if you're not a professional, because when you're not a professional, you tend to add more attention to the hair. You tend to swipe the flat iron across the hair a lot more than a professional would. So I would say I wouldn't go any higher than 350, 375. And when you're working with curly hair, the blow dry is the most important. The blow dry is the bulk of your work. So if you get the blow dry done properly, making sure that you get that done in a way that's not going to damage your curl pattern, but that's also going to get the hair straight, then a flat iron you shouldn't have to take so many swipes across the hair with the flat iron. Should be 1, 2, at the most 3 swipes of the flat iron. But like I said, only up to 375. I wouldn't go any higher than that for a non-professional. Okay. Do we have any other questions? I'm so glad you guys are getting some good information. I really enjoy doing these. What's a good heat protector? Okay, so the heat protector that I absolutely love is only available to professionals. So I'll actually send you a message after this with how you can purchase it. Because it is by Rha-Kera, and it's called, I can't remember, but it's called thermal something. And it's very lightweight. I use it for anybody's hair that I'm blow drying. I don't care what their hair texture is. It works phenomenally, and it's a spray. It's non-aerosol, so doesn't have any alcohols in it. And it just smooths the hair. It provides the hair nourishment without weighing the hair down, everything. So I'll send you a message with that one, because I don't know if you're able to purchase it from their website. So I'll double check, and I'll send you a message and let you know. But I absolutely love that one. Do you have any recommendation on how you can protect your hair when you sleep? Yes. please, please, please always have something in your hair when you sleep. I even recommend it for children once they reach about 1 or 2. Even if you cannot get them a silk or satin or high quality satin, so not just any satin, a high quality satin pillowcase. Please get them a silk or high quality satin bonnet or something to make sure that you are protecting your hair while you sleep, protecting your ends while you sleep. So I always recommend high quality satin or silk. Silk is going to be the best because it is the most natural and it allows the hair to breathe. But high quality satin is a close second. Next week I'll have an announcement on high quality satin high quality satin pillowcases and scarves, but my insiders got the information first, so they get first dibs on that. But next week I'll have something for you. But always protect your hair when you sleep. Most people can't sleep with a scarf on because it gets too hot. You can always wrap the satin or the high quality satin or the silk across your pillowcase, or across the current pillowcase that you have, or get a pillowcase on there. Okay. I need that. That spray is amazing. So I'll send you a message, or send me a message so I can remember to send it to you. But I'm gonna make sure first that it's available for the public to purchase, because last time I checked it was only available to professionals. But yeah, do we have any more questions? Is this present? Yes, it is. It is being taped. I'm going to leave this up. I always leave it up for 24 hours. So feel free to tag anybody that you like. I always leave it up for 24 hours so you can go back and view it if you missed any information, or if you weren't here in the very beginning. I always leave it up. And then I'm uploading it to my website and to YouTube after 24 hours. Okay. Any more questions? I like this. Okay, well, if you guys have any more questions, please send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or go on my website. It's a chat box, thehairhotline.com. It's a chat box there. I'm available most days, most times. I try to answer them as soon as I can, but if I cannot answer them, please leave your contact information. And as soon as I answer the question, you'll get an email back with my answer, okay? Oh, no, thank you all so much for coming, for joining me, and for asking questions, and for listening. All right. If you all don't have anything else, I'll see you all next week. We'll probably do 8 o'clock again, Central Standard Time. And I'll see y'all next week. Thank you. This was Live with the Hair Hotline. Be sure to follow us at The Hair Hotline or visit us at thehairhotline.com.